Hello and welcome to the Channel 1 Newsroom from our studios at number 5 Olahansalin at Tesano here in the Greater Accra region. I am Vivian Kai. Local coming up. Government demands probe into unaccounted military ammunition transfer to national security.
Ghana Armed Forces has passed it on to the National Security Secretariat for the National Security Secretariat to investigate it since they were the recipient.
Still in today's bulletin, University Teachers Association of Ghana UTAG threatens nationwide strike over government inaction on Galamsey.
We think the president is not willing to solve the problem. He's just acting, trying to blackmail Ghanaians emotionally, because he goes on air to speak as though he's committed, but his actions are otherwise.
Later in the bulletin, Ghana Water Limited to shut down Barikete water plant on July 2022 for ECG maintenance. Later in the bulletin, Assin North YEA boss decries forceful removal, cites political motives following his removal.
Initially, he told me, we dialogue concerning this position, and he told me that he didn't like the position, so I should go for it.
Yeah. Did you expect what happened this morning to have happened?
Never. It was a very shocking.
In CNR business, Finance Minister to outline bold revenue measures in 2025 mid-year budget review. In Channel 1 Sports, government to commercialize sports assets as maintenance costs mount. Thank you for joining us. Let's bring you details of our stories. We'll start with defense because government is calling for the immediate investigation into what it says is the illegal transfer of thousands of rounds of military ammunition from the Ghana Armed Forces to the National Security Secretariat in 2024, which remain unaccounted for. The Minister for Defense, Dr. Edward Omanibuama, at the Government Accountability Series, demanded answers about the failure to properly document and account for the transferred ammunition. Channel 1 News' presidential correspondent, Akosia Otre, with details.
Despite lacking adequate equipment, the Ghana Armed Forces continue to carry out their core duties. As the government is promising to retool the security services, it is revealing that thousands of rounds of military ammunition are unaccounted for, raising serious concerns about accountability within the security apparatus.
We have kept our nation safe and stable, notwithstanding the irregular transfer of thousands of rounds of military ammunition in 2024 from the Ghana Armed Forces to the National Security Outfit. Ammunitions which have since not been accounted for. I must say that, yes, it is not every detail that I can provide at this stage. But the fact that it's taking this long to capture it in this minute detail should tell you there must be a reason. The Ghana Armed Forces has passed it on to the National Security Secretariat for the National Security Secretariat to investigate it since they were the recipients.
Meanwhile, following pressure on government to begin recruitment processes, the military is preparing to recruit and train 12,000 new personnel into the army before the end of its tenure.
Can we rely on body selection and fitness tests conducted years ago to inform recruitment decision now? Additionally, with the passage of time, many have exceeded the age limit. I'm excited to announce that, as has been communicated by the Commander-in-Chief, a comprehensive enlistment and recruitment exercise is to be undertaken with a view to increasing the manpower strength of the Ghana Armed Forces. Altogether, we are enlisting and recruiting 12,000 personnel within the next 3.5 years.
The government has also given strong assurances that it will continue to uphold law and order in conflict-prone areas by distinguishing criminal acts from traditional matters, especially in Boku.
And have put in place robust mechanisms to ensure any potential escalation is swiftly contained in the interest of a peaceful and long-lasting resolution of the conflicts through dialogue. In doing so, we shall always separate crime from traditional matters, enabling us to deal appropriately and legally with criminals who foment trouble in the name of chieftaincy conflicts.
To some other stories, and the University Teachers Association of Ghana, UTAG, has reaffirmed its intention to embark on a nationwide strike if the government fails to honor its commitments to tackle illegal mining. The association says the worsening state of Galamsey is threatening lives and livelihoods and demands urgent pragmatic action. Channel 1 News' Ashanti Regional Correspondent Doris Lonta with details.
UTAG's warning stems from a pact signed with the presidential candidates of the two main political parties ahead of the 2024 general elections. The agreement outlined key commitments, including the repeal of Legislative Instrument 2462 and the declaration of a state of emergency in Galamsey-affected areas. But the association says the Mahama administration has failed to act decisively. President of the KNUST chapter of UTAG, Professor Eric Abavari, expressed deep disappointment, stating that the government appears to be repeating the ineffective strategies of the previous administration rather than adopting bold and actionable reforms.
We think the president is not willing to solve the problem. He's just acting, trying to blackmail Ghanaians emotionally, because he goes on air to speak as though he's committed, but his actions are otherwise. Blue, whatever they call it, guard, or are these people able to match mercenaries in the bush with sophisticated weaponry?
Professor Bavari urged the president to declare a state of emergency in illegal mining areas and implement pragmatic, result-oriented measures. He warned that UTAG will initiate industrial action if the government fails to take concrete steps beyond rhetoric.
Mr. President, I do not want to use the word that you are a con man, but from the actions so far, it's evident that you are a con man. You are a con man in the sense that the alacrity and pragmatism with which you exhibited prior to the election are not the same. You see, that means that you have some interest. I do not want to be told that because of the gold board, gold exploration and gold mining and whatever, but that cannot equate the danger.
UTAG is calling for the repeal of LI 2462 and the declaration of a state of emergency in illegal mining areas to safeguard and protect the environment. Reporting for Channel 1 News, I'm Doris Lonta, Ashanti Region.
To some other stories, the Ghana Water Company Limited, GWCL, has announced the planned shutdown of the Barikessa Water Treatment Plant on Tuesday, July 22, 2025, to enable the Electricity Company of Ghana, the ECG, to undertake essential maintenance works on its power lines. In a statement, GWCL said the shutdown will last from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., with operations set to resume once power is fully restored. Now, communities expected to be affected include Kronom Cement, Heman, Amwanman, Nketia, Konsakwari, and surrounding areas. Now, the company has advised residents and institutions in the affected zones to store enough water in advance and apologize for any inconvenience the temporary disruption may cause. Now, some members of the National Democratic Congress, that's the NDC, in the Assin North have stormed the Youth Employment Agency YEA office in protest over who should rightfully serve as the district director of the agency. Now, though the party's deputy constituency organizer, Christian Amwakohene Amwa, has occupied the role for several months, the group contends that his appointment was not sanctioned by the appropriate party structures. Akwesi Adoa, Central Regional Correspondent, with details.
Chanting the party's revolutionary anthem, the supporters, led by a constituency organizer, Francis Brighter TV, stormed the YEA office, broke the locks, and replaced them, demanding that Amwakohene Amwa vacate the premises. They insist that his continued stay in office is illegitimate. Francis Brighter TV claims that the party had agreed prior to the 2024 elections that constituency organizers would serve as YEA district directors.
It's normal. We know him to be the constituency youth organizer. So we knew the position would be automatically given to him. Yeah, and as it has gone through that, he is now the substantive YEA director. We are all happy.
The leaders of the party has done what is right. It is right to always do the right thing. You understand? Because in the structure of the party, the main youth organizer is supposed to get the YEA directorship within the district. So I think it is the right thing.
He maintains that based on that arrangement, he was officially appointed to the position.
In the party, the position should go to the main youth organizer, but unfortunately, I don't know what happens. Yeah, it went to my deputy. And so today, I have resumed office because I have received my appointment letter and then my posting letter. That is why I'm here today. Because the only thing I heard is he has given an appointment, but I don't know where that appointment was given to him. So I went to my boss, our boss, regional boss, but he said the appointment was given to him, but you don't know the one who actually gave the appointment to him. So I went to the head office for verification. So when I went there, and mine was given to me.
A new lock to the office has been installed by the new director, who says he has his appointment from rightful authority. For the Channel 1 Newsroom, I am Akwesi Ado, Assin Boku, Central Region.
Meanwhile, the district director of the Youth Employment Agency YEA in Assin North, Christian Amwakohene Amwa, says he is shocked after some National Democratic Congress supporters stormed his office and forcibly removed him, claiming he's not the legitimate appointee. Now, speaking to Cedi FM's Eyewitness News, Omar Sanda, Mr. Amwa insisted his appointment is valid, adding that he received his official letter from YEA CEO Malik Basantale 2 months ago. He suspects the action was politically motivated and driven by internal pressures. According to him, the constituency's main youth organizer had earlier declined interest in the role and even encouraged him to apply.
You see, initially he told me we dialogue concerning this position, and he told me he don't like the position, so I should go for it. Yes.
This was before you went to lobby.
I learned there was an external pressure. I don't know. You see, I learned there was an external pressure to see that the mind, his mind changed towards this election. So this position. So he said, so far as we are still for the main youth organizers, you have to go for it. And I think he's having a big man. I don't know, that can fight for him to get different appointments.
So did you Did you expect what happened this morning to have happened?
Never. It was a very shock to me.
He said he got a letter from the headquarters of YEA appointing him to the position and that your appointment was in error. What do you say to that?
Well, I don't know.
One of you must be telling lies. One of you must have a fake appointment letter. Don't you think so?
Supposing if I should be the lawyer, then meaning and I need not to come on the payroll.
We'll still stay with politics. We'll move to the MPP because it is projecting renewed energy within its ranks following the adoption of 54 constitutional amendments at its just-ended National Delegates Conference. Now, one of the most consequential changes is the expansion of the party's electoral college to include former appointees, ex-members of parliament, and past party executives. Now, joining us via telephone to unpack the implications of these reforms is Boniface Gambilla. He's a former member of parliament for Nabdam, also one-time Upper East Regional Minister and also Ghana's former ambassador to Burkina Faso. Mr. Gambilla, if you can hear me, welcome to Channel One Newsroom.
Thank you so much.
Now, this new amendment grants voting rights in presidential primaries to former appointees, people like yourself. Was this a long-standing request, and what were some of the internal hurdles in getting the party to adopt this change?
Yes, I have been a direct victim of that circumstance. The situation earlier or before has been that if even you were a parliamentary candidate, you had a role to play in the executive, constituency executive. Now, if you lost the election as a parliamentary candidate, then you were not part of the executive in decision making, but you were part of the major contributors of resources to run the constituency. But then you had no voting rights at the other levels. So as far back as 2012, I remember I raised this at my local level that it was unfair that for somebody like me who has developed the party in a constituency with personal resources, getting friends and community people to help to run the party, build the MPP to a certain level that we won for the first time as MPP in my constituency in 2012. Then we come to primaries, and because I'm not in parliament, I'm not an MP, then I cannot have a voting right to determine who should be my presidential candidate or who should be my national executive member. So we found that unfair. So when we raised it over the years, and I thank God finally it has happened, because expanding it is a gradual process to get into the universal adult suffrage. That's what I think about that.
Right. Now, coming out from the conference as well, some, and then looking at the motions and the amendments that were approved, some critics argue that the outcome of the conference reflects a clear tilt in favor of Vice President Dr. Bawumia, former Vice President Dr. Bawumia. How do you respond to suggestions that these reforms are designed to favor a particular candidate?
Every situation has its corresponding match, and every illness has its corresponding treatment. Over the years, after every election, we made changes. We reassembled, we evaluated things, and certain new ideas came up. If you look at the Ghana election process since '92, you realize that at the end of each national election, certain things were raised, evaluated, and changes took place. From black and white photos, from thumb printing to digitalization. So as an organization that wants to govern and govern properly, you cannot remain static. So for those who say or criticize it, I am on the contrary. I don't really buy all the ideas. If we tried other situations before, this election, where we have lost so much to the NDC by chance to them, then of course we need to sit back and reevaluate. And if we have reevaluated and we think that we should try certain alternatives, we've got to try them as we have done before. But when you come in thinking, looking for certain preferences, no, it may not work so well. But one thing that is important to take note is that when we talk of leaders, we have a leader coming up different ways. A leader either emerges, a leader is either imposed, a leader is either through a coup making, a leader is either through knowledge or skills, certain talents. So Bawumia emerges as a leader based on the circumstances. So it's not like a coup making, somebody is imposing Bawumia. It's not like Bawumia is imposing himself. At the last 2024, you saw how it happened. We went for primaries, we went for special delegates, Congress, and he was elected throughout. So the vim is there because this is Bawumia who started from holding this party in the Supreme Court, talking and getting all the frustration, answering all the 1,050 questions of the Supreme Court, and proving everything statistically with evidence. But it's just that the Supreme Court at that time wanted some sort of leverage for Ghana, peaceful democracy, and so they decided otherwise. Because at the end of the you realize that the Supreme Court, there was confusion as to whether it was 4-3, 4-1, 2-3 or so.
Right.
And the judgment had to be confused. So Bawumia had been very strong. He stood behind Nanado through his lectures, through his courts, and that made us win the election thereafter.
Right. Now there's some uncertainty about the implementation timeline of some of the amendments. For example, newly elected polling station executives and the 5 additional electoral area executives are excluded from voting in January, the 2026 primaries. Does this raise any questions about the legitimacy or fairness of the process?
Oh, if in the sense of the drafters of the Constitution find that fairness has to play, it's a question of who were there and who are now coming.
Right.
So they answered the question who were there and followed the issues to 2024 and who are now coming. What level of capacity should they be allowed to vote or not to vote? So people, the framers had to sit and think properly about it and look at certain issues, certain justifications. So that one we cannot quarrel with them because the existing executives are still in office until their time is up.
Yeah.
Just as Nanado had to stay until 7th January. So after 7th December election, it had to be that he shouldn't perform his duty until 7th January. Nanado had to perform. The previous time, John Mahama had to perform until 7th January. Kufo had to perform until 7th January. Rawlings had to perform until 7th January.
Right.
So the same thing with our structures. They were elected for a certain period. And if things are changing and they are still in office, they should do their work until their time catches up with them.
Right. Now ahead of the conference, former President John Kufuor raised concerns about being sidelined. Now, do you believe the party is doing enough to involve its elders and former officials in key decisions? And have you personally felt excluded from party affairs in recent years?
So far as I'm concerned, everybody has been involved in the party. If the former president said he was sidelined, maybe we didn't get the details of the discussion. But I know the former president has attended council meetings. He has attended the opening of the Patriotic Institute. The former president Nanado and the teams have been visiting him, and all those kind of interfacing. So perhaps we did not get his message fully right, and people give different interpretations to it. So as to what prompted him to say so before, during, and after the statement, we don't have that. We only have the usual propaganda from media, just catching a glimpse of "I'm sidelined, I am sidelined," So that much, I cannot talk much about that.
But you yourself, have you been given the opportunity?
I know everybody has been involved, and the conference, as we saw, is an indication that everybody is in MPP is so enthusiastic. So you see how enthusiastic the people were, happy to gather together to do this amendment with the hope that we are coming back to power in 2028, looking at the circumstances of the deceit. The deceit that NDC deceived the whole country.
Right. Now, the party says it wants to rebuild on its foundational values, still latching on to the roles the elderly people are playing and those who've been in the party for long. What role do you think people like yourself can play in the rebuilding process? And how can the party better leverage the experiences of some of its senior members, including yourself?
Yes, we have what we call institutional knowledge. You always need it. And we have what we call teamwork. You always need it. Teamwork means we have different people in the team, different talents, different capacities. And so if you overlook team qualities, you are going to be in a problem. So all we need to do, the singing that equal the youth, or let's give attention to the youth things, is the issue we should talk about. Yes, the youth will take over from the elderly tomorrow. But then we should all have the right to be respected. We should have the right to make our little contributions to the center of the party. Because party is an organization that needs human beings, machines, money, materials.
Right.
And so all of us have to contribute to the machines, materials, and money. That one is important. And we need to respect each other's views and accept, show that we are really Democrats, show that we have a listening ear to each other, okay? Right. And especially the young ones who are very fast at spitting out, how do I put it, spitting out bad words, bad language. We need to, we the elders need to let them know that, no, that is bad training. Right. We all need to value our cultural values. We refer everybody to cultural values. We must respect elderly. We must respect peer groups.
Right.
We must support each other. So we should work as a team. Everybody has a talent. Everybody has his capacity and capabilities and interests. So we try to get to all those things. That will get the party together as a family.
Right. Now, as someone who once served as regional minister for the Upper East region, how do you assess the current security situation in Boku? Have there been tangible steps towards peace, or is the conflict worsening?
Yes. Boku, for me, is unfortunate because I happen to have my family part of it in Kustasi. Half my family is in Kusanaba. Binaba. Yes, half my family. We are divided in our home from Nabdam and Kusanaba. But you see, as a regional minister, I don't know what I did. But during my period, there was nobody who offended a Mampusi or a Mampusi was offended a Kusasi. And I was able to be visiting both sides, talking peace, playing together, eating and drinking together, and sharing experiences. You know, because if you don't get people sitting together, talking and eating and drinking and chatting and sharing experiences, all these problems will come up. And the unfortunate thing is, each side sees the thing as a political issue, which is not.
Okay.
The thing is, I would say, a natural phenomenon which needs to be resolved.
Right.
But some people go and they will use politics. Oh, it is the other party who are doing this. If you vote for me, we will do this for you. That is where the deceit is. Because Kusasi Mampusi issue should not have anything to do with political angles.
Yeah.
But you see, that has come in. They also trace the history from Nkrumah era, trying to how Nkrumah also tried to ramificate chieftaincy and local governance, all those issues. So for me, I think that for Boku to have peace, the people themselves have to be able to sit together and chat and talk.
Okay.
We should have opportunity and avenues for them to be eating and drinking and discussing. But if you leave them apart, and you think that it must be law, it must be military, it must be police. No, we have our traditional and customary mechanisms of solving conflicts in our areas.
Okay.
Why don't we use that? As a regional minister, there was a conflict area that before I went as a minister, they had set a committee. And the committee went through these normal mechanisms, trying to find you are wrong, you are right. And when I took over as a regional minister, I said, no, I wouldn't implement that report.
Okay.
I rather prefer setting up a traditional mechanism of conflict resolution.
Okay.
They took me to Parliament. They called me to Parliament to answer why I was releasing the report. I told Parliament point blank. I said, yes, I've seen the report, and the report will not resolve the issue. I think in my own style, I wanted to use the traditional mechanisms. And I used the traditional mechanisms to date. Since I left as a regional minister from 2007, there has never been any conflict in that area, in the Zwarugu area.
Right.
Boku, when I was there, from 2005 to 2007, Boku never stepped each other's stone. There was nobody blamed each other in Boku.
Right.
So I was a lucky minister, and maybe it depends on how I was doing my things.
Right.
You need to bring people together. It's easy to bring people together.
All right.
Those people, we in Boku, we Kusasis, we Mampusis, we are married together, and that makes it easier to solve this problem.
All right. Honorable Boniface, we have to leave it here. That is Honorable Boniface Gambela. He's a former member of parliament for Namdam, also one-time Upper East Regional Minister and Ghana's former ambassador to Burkina Faso. This is the Channel 1 Newsroom when we come back. Finance Minister to outline bold revenue measures in 2025 mid-year budget review. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Hey, so mommy, who is going to do my wade jollof?
Oh, Kwame. You know our secret, right?
Yeah.
Efia.
Yes, me. I've got it.
Now add your Chino jollof mix.
The perfect blend of tomatoes, pepper, and fine herbs and spices to ensure a consistent taste every time. And there you have it, your original Ghana jollof.
Jollof so good.
Jollof so good. Tasty, yeah.
What is going on here?
Enjoy jollof the Ghana way. Gino jollof is made with the perfect blend of tomatoes, pepper, and fine herbs and spices to ensure a consistent taste every time.
This advert is FDA approved.
No matter how far you run away, you always come back to where you started.
Tortured, mutilated, fingers cut off.
I can lend you the money. My boss believes in giving players another chance.
You don't know what to do if you don't have the money to pay back. Come and listen to me.
Sir, it's done. Good. 1 week. That is all you got to pay up.
You've been gambling.
Unfortunately, we're still chasing shadows. He's clearing the board to make way for something bigger.
How could you do this to us, God? Who's there?
I can fix this.
Every day is packed with its own surprises. You never know which thrill is around the corner.
Feel good. Feel good.
Or how it will play out. There's a sense of excitement.
Did our plane just stop? Another cash out.
That adds a little magic to my everyday.
Feels like a party tonight. Sister, me dad, dear, but she be an amiam. I could eat that. Me many tears, some of them is a kind of a set. Me made us to take it. Sika, sit down to the moon. Juju so mo. Bag in the one there. Remember be free. So what you say bag now, ma? One na better show. Wow. Say me na kwam phobia. Na mo soli o. Hey!
You're welcome back to Channel 1 Newsroom. I'm Vivian Kai Loco. Next is CNR Business with Nashika Caesar.
Channel 1 Business is brought to you by MTN and EcoBank.
Every day, people have money emergencies. Ma, I need my school fees emergency. Mommy, chop money emergency. Emergency. Catch it. I'm your rent emergency. Now, there's a new emergency number in town.
More money, challenge and enjoyment. At the top life we got.
Dial star 770 hash for all your money emergencies and chop life.
Dial star 770 hash for money emergencies and get easy and quick access to your money, loans, and other banking needs. EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank.
You're welcome back. Nashika,
hi Vivian.
Mid-year budget is coming up.
Yes, on Thursday.
What should we expect?
Well, I'm sure the finance minister is going to brief us on government expenditure, you know.
Oh, we're told you to tell us what he's been using the revenue for.
Exactly.
Well, give us details.
The finance minister, Dr. Cassiel Atuforsen, is expected to announce bold measures to consolidate revenue mobilization efforts when he presents the 2025 mid-year budget review to Parliament on Thursday, July 24, barring any last-minute delays. And there's more in the following report.
This year's review is expected to provide a critical assessment of government's economic management over the first half of the year, covering revenue performance, expenditure, debt servicing, and policy implementation. revenue mobilization will be a top priority, especially as government prepares to roll out key infrastructure projects, including major roads. Meeting revenue targets is seen as essential to financing these initiatives without compromising fiscal discipline. The finance minister is also expected to update Parliament on the performance and impact of recent tax measures, such as the implementation of the 1 Cedi fuel levy and the scrapping of the e-levy, and ongoing plans to simplify the VAT system, including the possible removal of the COVID-19 levy. So far, Ghana has met several structural benchmarks under its IMF-supported program, and government is expected to stay the course to avoid reversing recent gains. The 2025 target is to mobilize over 200 billion Ghana cedis in domestic revenue by year end. In an interview, tax analyst Francis Timoboy noted that while the first half of the year has been relatively stable, the coming month will be a true test of government's fiscal discipline.
Overall, things look good for the first half of the year. But for me, the greatest test is the second half of the year. The question is whether government will be able to hold the expenditure controls firm. Can government contain the pressure from, for example, labor organizations or labor unions? Recently, we saw the Nurses Association fighting for better service conditions. Can government take on this unplanned expenses?
Now, this month marks 60 years since Ghana adopted the Cedi as its sole legal tender, but 6 decades on, the Cedi's value and credibility are under intense scrutiny. In this report, Neteli Netiajao examines public sentiment about the confidence crisis facing the local currency.
For 60 years, the Ghana Cedi has been the heartbeat of Ghana's economy, facilitating trade, salaries, and savings. It has recently experienced a turnaround, shifting from being one of the world's worst performing currencies to a top performer against major trading currencies like the US dollar and the euro. Latest data from the BOG shows that it has appreciated by more than 42% so far this year, marking a sharp recovery that has nearly reversed the steep losses recorded in 2022 and 2023. But how does the average Ghanaian feel about the Ghana Cedi today?
The Cedi hasn't really been stable in terms of meeting other demands when it comes to the strength or its power as compared to other currencies. We've had issues whereby it has actually drastically dropped, especially with the influx of inflation. That has really played a pivotal role in terms of actually having people to fold up in terms of businesses.
For the director of ISE, Professor Peter Quarty, persistent depreciation, double-digit inflation, and the growing use of the US dollar in key sectors have eroded public trust.
The Cedi used to command very high level of respect about a couple of decades ago compared to what it used to be some time past. But currently, we've seen an improved level of acceptance of the Cedi. Normally, when a currency is facing high levels of depreciation, high levels of inflation, people would like to store their wealth in other forms than in the currency.
He says despite the recent gains, the Cedi's future depends on long-term structural reforms, including industrialization and the reduction of import dependency.
I must say that we still have inflation with us, and therefore some level of reluctance to store wealth in Cedi is there for some people. Acceptability is still very good, but there is still room for improvement.
After 60 years, the Ghana Cedi continues to remain both a symbol of Ghana's independence and a reflection of its economic challenges. But whether respected or questioned, it continues to remain as the lifeblood of our daily lives. For Channel 1 Business, I am Neteli Netiajao.
Let's now bring you an update on how the currency is performing on the interbank markets. And that's it for Channel One Business. I am now Shika Caesar. Vivian, over to you.
Thank you, Shika. See you around. We move on to some other stories. Some key players in Ghana's agriculture sector are urging the government to take immediate action to ban the illegal trade in donkey hides. They warn that if the current rate of donkey slaughter continues unchecked, the species could face extinction, an outcome they believe must be avoided at all costs. Daniel Dromensan with details.
The stakeholders indicate that the illegal trade is largely fueled by some Chinese nationals operating in the northern regions, who with the help of local collaborators slaughter donkeys for their hides. These hides are then processed and exported to China for commercial use. One of the voices leading the charge is Professor Roger Canton, an agricultural research scientist and leader of the Fight Against Donkey Extinction Project team. Speaking during an engagement with the Parliamentary Select Committee on Agriculture, Food and Cocoa Affairs, he highlighted the urgent need for intervention. Professor Canton noted that both the African Union and ECOWAS have already outlawed the donkey hide trade. However, he expressed concern that the illicit practice remains widespread in countries like Ghana and Nigeria.
The ECOWAS veterinary doctors who met in Abuja in 2014 and came out with that COVID meeting. Actually, that was the first document we picked up and said no, because the chief director of Ghana was party to that, so they didn't give us a document. So it means it's illegal to operate on. And then through Dakar, then they also gave us a document where ECOWAS member states came together and also agreed that if they don't ban this trade, the donkey will fail. So we had that document for the Boku partners. And then later, AU also came with the documents and we said, no, then this one is something that we need to take up.
If you don't stop this illegal donkey hide trade soon, Ghana may be the first country where kids grow up thinking donkeys are just a myth. This is according to stakeholders calling for the immediate ban of the trade. For Channel One Business, I am Daniel Udro-Mensah.
Now to some rather sad story, and a 37-year-old nurse identified as Akosia Dumchumwa has tragically died in a suspected suicide at her residence in the Ashanti region. She was found unresponsive, and the discovery has left her family, particularly her mother, in a state of shock. According to her mother, Akosia had shown no signs of distress earlier that morning and had gone about her usual Sunday routine. After briefly losing sight of her, the family began searching and later found her unresponsive in one of the rooms. Now, sources told Channel One News that this was not the first time the deceased had faced some challenges, noting that she had previously attempted to take her own life on multiple occasions. Her body has since been taken to the morgue. Meanwhile, the Ashanti Regional Police Command has launched an investigation into the circumstances leading to that incident. Fire officers in Obuasi have rescued a newborn baby who was dumped in a public latrine at Kwame Dukrom in the Obuasi East District of the Ashanti region. Now, the incident occurred on Sunday, July 20th, around 8 p.m. The Ghana National Fire Service received a distress call at 10:30 p.m. and responded swiftly. Channel One News' Ashanti regional correspondent Tofik Mohammed reports.
At Kwame Dukrom, a suburb of Obuasi East, residents were left in shock after discovering a day-old baby abandoned in a public latrine. Officials from the Ghana National Fire Service were alerted and quickly dispatched a team to the scene. Confirming the incident to Channel One News, DO2 Peter Adai said the rescue team led by Station Officer 2 Apia Kubi arrived within minutes and bravely descended into the latrine using an extension ladder. At exactly 11:30 p.m., the baby was retrieved alive.
About 10:30 p.m., we had a distress call reporting an incident at Assin North YEA within the Obuasi East municipality. The incident was reported at the Owusu Sampa Basic School. So we quickly had to dispatch our tender at Obuasi to attend to the incident. When they got there, they realized that a day-old baby had been dumped in the public latrine over there, so they had to rescue him. And fortunately for them, there was a midwife who was around, and she, together with the assemblyman and the rescue team, took the baby to the Anglo Gold Hospital, where the baby is receiving treatment.
Yeah, so watching Channel 1 Newsroom, I am Vivian Kai. Local still to come. Government to commercialize sports assets as maintenance cost mount. Stay with us, we'll be right back with details.
Hey Ghana, so you people know Miss Brother once more. It be me, it's your boy. Kill them all. But this time, I'm not only killing mosquitoes, I am killing the grades. See, this wouldn't have been possible if I didn't have the perfect mosquito-free atmosphere. Thank you, Out Insecticide. And yeah, Out Mosquito Coil. For a mosquito-free atmosphere, trust Out too. You are not serious.
Out Insecticide. So ya boa faha.
DSTV means choosing.
Amazing acting.
Face branding while streaming.
Front row at the gaming and super fanning while on the going. Winning. Binging and blockbustering. While others are white ricing, you're jolloffing.
This looks so good.
With something for everyone, anything is possible when you're DSTVing. Start today with all sorts of packages to match your...
I run because I believe I'm born to win.
Register now for the ABSA Black Star Marathon, because your story matters.
Every day is packed with its own surprises. You never know which thrill is around the corner.
Feel good. Feel good.
Or how it will play out. There's a sense of excitement.
Did our plane just stop? Another cash out.
That adds a little magic to my everyday.
Feels like a party tonight.
Wake up in the morning feeling super fine. Let's go, don't got no time, yeah. Turn it up, I'ma strut my stuff. You see me walking on the block, can't get enough. Like, nobody can touch me. They wanna be like me, but I got no time to get up, get up, get up. Now let's go. We gotta move on up. We gotta move on up. We gotta move on up. We gotta.
Play me for.
It's go time. We gotta move on up. We gotta move on up.
Call me.
We gotta move on up. We gotta move on up. Now let's go.
Beautiful. Wow.
Today's cross wasn't going for it. Now towards goal. That's a superb finish.
When it's go time to supercharge your hustle, make it go time for GoTV.
Now let's go.
Love it.
You're welcome back to Channel 1 Newsroom. I'm Vivian Kai. Local next is Channel 1 Sports with Gabby Ofe. Gabby, you're welcome.
Thank you, Vivian.
Talk of commercializing our assets, sports assets. I'm trying to figure out how that will be plausible.
Well, I think it's possible, but the talking point has been, accountability in terms of the revenue we get. Where would it go? Would it be, would we have a particular facility that will say, okay, we are working on this for a period of time? But I think it's a good idea. What we just want to see is accountability. If we get $20,000 from a church activity,
what will become of the $20,000 we got. I think that's
the
the
big
main
issue
important.
is maintenance.
Yeah.
Because how much is going to go to maintenance and how much
Exactly.
will go back to the fund
Exactly.
to be used for other things.
Exactly. And I think that crowd sports, and I was just telling you, I've seen one or two changes, but they still have a lot of work to be done. At the upper terrace, I hear that place, the metal is getting rusty and stuff. And it's so when you realize the last 2 games we've played against Chad in the President's Cup, that side was not open to the public.
But the President's Cup, a lot of tweets came in that the washroom still stinks. Can't we start solving that problem? You know, I nearly came to watch the match, but I thought about that stench.
The washroom took you back.
It
changed your mind.
I was like, let me stay at home and watch.
Yeah, it's a big concern. And like I was saying, I think that what the NSA can do is to get people at the place to make sure that the place is always kept neat. Because
simple.
If you have people trooping in, I think that game had about 30,000 spectators. People who troop into the washroom in and out. It's frequent. You have to get
every minute.
Yeah, so I think it's a good idea.
All right, give us more details.
All right, let's get into it. And Director General of the National Sports Authority, Yao Ampofankra, has revealed that plans are underway to commercialize some of Ghana's national sports assets to help generate revenue for the authority. Now, he made this disclosure while addressing the persistent challenge of inadequate funding for the maintenance of national facilities, stressing the urgent need for sustainable solutions to preserve and enhance these vital infrastructures.
The status of these assets, properties, and the lands, we can decide to make use of it however we want to do. And that needs a lot of collaboration, stakeholders to draw and find the best means to do that. And one of the ways, or one of the things we want to do is to, commercialize some of these assets so that we can use the funds to invest back into the NSA, into management of facilities, renovations and refurbishments and logistics, training, just to rework the whole NSA. And it's a process which will take time.
All right, let's do some transfer news. And Liverpool have agreed an initial £69 million fee to sign Eintracht Frankfurt striker Hugo Ekitike. Now, the 23-year-old Frenchman is expected to arrive in the UK on Tuesday before having a medical. Now, Frankfurt accepted a deal worth £79 million, with 69 guaranteed and £10 million in add-ons. Ekitike is expected to sign a 6-year contract and will fly out to join Liverpool's Asia tour later this week. Newcastle had a £70 million bid for Ekitike rejected this month, while Liverpool have shown an interest in Magpie striker Alexander Isak. Now, Ekitike scored 15 goals in 31 starts as Frankfurt finished third in the Bundesliga last season. His arrival will push Liverpool's spending past that's £250 million this summer. And that's the very latest in the world of sports. I am Gabi Affair. Back to you, Vivian.
Charlie, £69 million. Just give me £1 million.
That's so much money in football,
I know, right? Thank you, Gabi. Thank you so much. Well, that's it for today's edition of the Channel One Newsroom. I'm Vivian Kai Loco. Many thanks for joining us. We'll see you again. Goodbye.